Hello, I'm Matt from Ludo-Chrono. Today I'm going to give you an overview of Tap the Table. Tap the Table is a 3 to 8 players party game for players ages 8 and up, and it plays for around 15 minutes. In this game, you have to give answers to constraints, and those constraints are going to combine into pile up, and they are going to be ever-changing. You do so to avoid taking penalty tokens. If you have the most of them at the end of the game, you lose the game. If you have the least of them, you win. First up, you're going to make up a deck of cards with cards of different colors, which are all different constraints. And then you can start playing the game. On your turn, you will simply flip a card and then have to give an answer, which is an item or a group of items that has to match all of the constraints visible. So in this case, it has to be visible from a distance. And I might say, for example, the Eiffel Tower. And then as the answer is satisfactory, we move on to the next player. With flip, has yellow on it and is visible from a distance. We have to obey both. So maybe it's going to be a cab. We move on to the next player because the cab wasn't challenged. We flip another constraint, which is can't be bought at the supermarket. So it can't be cheese, it can't be a giant chick because a giant chick doesn't exist. But we might say something else, for example, the sun. And then we move on to the next player. You may notice that the constraint is pink, the same color as this one. And in this case, you're going to cover up, visible from a distance, to fit in a car boot. So in this case, a chick, not a giant chick, a chick could work. So we move on to the next player and we say something that is useful on an early trip to Mars and all of the previous constraints, except the one that has been covered. So the answers might get difficult to find because they are quite narrow with all of these constraints. Someone might have an answer before you and they can give an answer, but they have to count down from 5 and tapping the table. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. When they reach 0, they have to give their answer immediately. If they do, they give you one of their penalty tokens. If they do not, they get 2 penalty tokens for interrupting you not on the right spot. However, when the countdown is ticking, you can give the right answer. You can say, for example, hey, that can be a survival blanket. And if people think that, we can buy survival blankets at the supermarket, if they are not happy with the answer, they can tap the table and stick their fist onto the table. And that means that they want you to justify yourself. If you cannot justify yourself, they will keep their fists on the table, and if they are happy with your answer, they will lift their fist off the table. If the majority of fist is lifted off the table, fine for you, the round continues. If not, you get a penalty token, and that's it. When any players get penalty tokens, we remove all of the constraint cards and start anew. We play like so until the deck is depleted, after what we count up the points, and the players with the fewest penalty tokens wins the game. Please note that you can also add constraints that are purple constraints that are more complicated. Do not use them on your first game. So that's the basic gist of Tap the Table. This is a game in which you have to imagine and make up answers that match all of the ever-changing constraints. Bye-bye, see you on Ludochrono.